This is nothing coherent. I'm Brandon.
I'm Ryan.
Take your time.
I forgot who I am.
Cool. We don't really have a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah,
so-
this is a weird week. Not a whole lot has been going on. So I was just like, I'm just going to do whatever I want, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
So I guess we can just talk about what we've been playing, watching, and shooting the breeze, I guess, for a little bit. So I think we should address first things first. Ryan is obviously not dead.
We don't know that.
Well, I mean, I guess. Are you a ghost or from another dimension or?
My prostate exam was rough,
Uh-huh.
but I made it.
Okay.
I would never suggest anybody to have a prostate exam at Walmart.
Yeah, that.
In the back of Walmart.
I don't know.
especially.
I don't know who recommended you to that doctor. Sorry, man. But
He gave me a deal.
hey,
He
listen.
passed it up.
Use your old employee discount.
Yeah, my old employee discount with the discount card that I no longer have. I have the number memorized though, so it's fine. I can still get a discount on pretty much nothing that I want.
Yeah,
From
because it was
Walmart.
only like really exclusive items.
Yeah, so like the Walmart discount did not work on food at all, which to me was the whole point of wanting to have it. It worked on everything else though. So like if I wanted to buy like a video game or like a movie or a big purchase like a game system, I would go to Walmart and get it when I worked there. Because that just makes sense. I would get 10% off. But when I worked for Kroger Company, like I got 10% off of everything when I worked there and 20% off of any of their brand stuff, which was always really nice. So when they shut down, I kind of felt defeated because I was like, groceries are cheap.
Dude, there are a lot of spider webs on those
No, they're not.
lights.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when spiders decide to come and hang out. We've been talking about Spider-Man a lot.
There are a
on the
lot. Now I'm
podcast.
like sitting here and looking. There's a...
Yeah, well, listen, they're not bothering us right now. It's not like it's gonna be.
we bothered them. That's more my
Well,
bigger
here's the thing, man. It's not gonna end up like Harry. It's not gonna end up like Harry
Oh,
Potter and the
frick.
Chamber of Secrets. It's
They,
not like.
they blew up the candle behind us.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's
so-
kind of cool.
They're probably going to kill us.
It's not like in Chamber of Secrets where Aragog is in the Forbidden Forest and is telling Harry and Ron that he's gonna let the spiders eat them. We're fine. Like we outnumber them
No.
in terms of size.
Yeah, but...
I may have mentioned this, but have you guys ever seen Eight-Legged Freaks?
Yeah.
I watched that when I was like 7.
Dude,
And I
that's
saw
a
flashbacks of that.
that's
I-
a weird movie.
I can quote some of it still. I distinctly remember the ending of the movie where they go and like rip people off the
wall.
walls, and then I remember when the cat gets stuck in the wall,
Yeah.
and it's like overly cartoonish, like the cat face and then the spider face being like knocked into the wall until the cat's dead.
So I remember the trailers for that movie very, very well.
Get back, you
freaks! But I never actually saw the film.
It was.
I've heard it's like a really funny cult following movie.
I feel like it's really campy, but I mean, yeah, it's been what I think it came out
It's really old.
2003.
it was early
something like that.
2000s for sure.
So like as a kid, I definitely remember being like, "Oh, this is funny."
Yeah.
Now I'm like, it might not be that way because I've seen it a lot.
I haven't seen it in
I
the
don't
last
know.
probably 10 years or so. So I don't know really how well it's aged.
Sometimes I think about that scene where the not jumping spiders, but there's the spiders that like burrow the nest underground and then they pop up and
Yeah.
grab you.
Yeah.
I always thought about those giant ones, being like, man, that'd be a horrible way to go. And how he like had to get the ladders and he was like putting them over. And then they had the whole if you build it they will come moment where he was like because
Hey man, don't go into the spoilers. I might watch.
well there's a subplot about how the
After all
town
these
didn't
years.
want this mall
Oh.
and they all run there to grab like equipment. It's basically like a zombie apocalypse movie.
with
Yeah.
spiders.
Yeah.
That
And
sounds
so-
actually really cool.
And so the guy was like, "Oh, if they build it," because the town was like arguing with him. But then he goes,
Right.
"Oh, if they build it, they'll come." And it was like, "What a
Because
stupid."
like on one hand, like spiders would be even more terrifying than zombies, I think, just because of like how fast they can
Yeah.
move, how poisonous they are, and how much they can like lay eggs and everything. Like they're gonna quickly outnumber you.
Right, and that was the premise of the movie, at least from what I can remember, is that one of the kids was really good friends with this weird guy who lives on the outskirts of town who raises spiders.
There's a lab by the
It's
creek.
like huge, yeah, it's this huge lab of spiders, and he raised them all to obey this one queen spider, which is like a tarantula type.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
And so the whole movie is them getting to the queen, Oh, well, sorry. So it was the government was dumping radioactive waste in the creek by his house, and it leaked into his house, causing all the spiders to grow.
That sounds like something straight out of like a Spider-Man comic.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about it? Before sci-fi movies were like really intense, this was like one of the first ones to really set that tone.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look up when it came out. I'm really curious.
I'm gonna say 2001 or 2002.
I feel like 3, but it honestly could have been.
It could have even been 1999.
No,
or 2000.
it's not. It's at least between 2001 to 2006.
Well, I definitely
It's definitely not. It's definitely 03 or before, probably.
It's got to be early 2000s because
Maybe
like
04.
I remember seeing a trailer for it when we went to go see. I want to say Shrek.
It's 2002.
Oh, okay. Then
It is an action adventure comedy horror sci-fi thriller.
yeah.
Almost everything. It's a comedy.
I mean it is a comedy to be fair. Like if you think about
With
it.
everything going
Look
on.
at the. I'm gonna show the poster to the. Lovely.
What is that face on the spider? And,
That's the spider's face.
and the guy doesn't look very threatened at all. He looks like he's actually just kind of like. He looks like he looks more like he's like mad at some
it's
kid
one
on
of those,
Xbox for camping.
It came out July 19th, and the like tag for it was "Let the Squashing Begin."
And it came out in 2002.
July 19th, 2002.
That movie is 17 years old.
Yep.
And
Let's see who's in. Scarlett Johansson's in it.
what? I have to watch it
I'm
now.
looking to see if there's anybody else I know.
You know personally, right?
Yeah, I'm really good friends with ScarJo.
Hey man, like
Can you give her digits for me?
no.
She's married. I think she's pregnant, or she was pregnant.
So
We don't.
here's a question for you all, just because if you could pick anybody in the MCU to be friends with, who would it be and why?
Scarlett Johansson,
Why?
because she's a babe.
This movie's rated PG.
I said friends, not friends with benefits.
The movie's rated
I
PG-13
didn't
because
say
there's
anything.
a sexual reference of a man
I don't think she'd
referencing
want me.
anal probes.
Oh.
What?
Anal probes.
And then there's also a scene where a male's mannequin head falls into the lap of a female mannequin.
Okay. But Brandon, answer that question for me. Who would you want to be friends with
What?
from the MCU?
Maybe like
an
Rocket
actor.
or somebody, so it could go explore space.
Oh, I was talking about the actor. Like,
The guy
Well,
that
yeah,
plays-
Sean Gunn, but in the green suit, so he has to act like Rocket the entire time.
I was gonna say Chris Pratt, just because Chris Pratt seems like he'd be a
Probably
fun
Tom
guy.
Holland, because he'd spoil everything for me.
Oh yeah, no, Tom Holland would be good. He's also like our age.
He could. Yeah, I'm older than him, which freaks me out. So
Yeah,
he could
we're-
teach me to do flips.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, can you teach this fat old man to do flips?
Hey, Tom Holland.
Sir, Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. You should cast me as Eddie Brock because I'm kind of bigger than you.
Yeah, I'm fatter and bigger than you, so please cast me as Eddie Brock.
I could be Venom.
I'm as good an actor as Topher Grace.
Yeah.
And Tom Hardy in Venom. I'd probably be the best Venom actor they've had.
That's kind of sad.
My spider sense is tingling, if you know what I mean.
Talking
Dang it!
it! Dude, we just watched that movie not too long
It was like
ago.
4 weeks ago.
Like 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, whatever.
2, 3, 4 weeks ago.
Hey, it was the other day ago, all right? Listen, like, I kind of want to watch Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 again to give them a chance, because I haven't seen them since they came out.
We watched Amazing Spider-Man 2 not super long ago, and I still feel the same way. I watched it leading up to Infinity War, just because I was like on the Marvel craze,
Yeah.
and I still feel the same way.
I gotta think that it can't be the worst superhero movie of all time, though.
It's the worst Spider-Man movie.
Now, do you say that as in, like, it's just a terrible movie, or it's a bad Spider-Man
Both.
movie? Both?
I think it has a lot of narrative problems that play gets. The
There
only
some
highlights
issues I
to the
remember.
movie are for Amazing Spider-Man 2. The only highlights are the relationship between Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, and some of the web swinging.
I was gonna say, I remember liking the web swinging and the effects a lot.
Yeah, they're fine, but it's like the villains suck, the
Yeah.
plot sucks. It's all really rushed and really setting up two movies when it's
Yeah,
not even
it
focused
seemed-
on itself.
Like, speaking of that, a guy that I watch on YouTube who is literally the exact opposite of CinemaSins, where he wins films instead and like talks about the things that he likes in them. He did one on Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I just watched it the other day, and he was like, there are some problems with this film. And I was just like, okay, yeah, like, I don't know. I kind of want to watch it again just to see, like, if maybe my opinions change. Because that movie came out, what, like 5 years ago now? I think.
2014, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I've only seen it the one time.
I saw it twice in theaters.
You saw it twice in theaters?
I saw it once on opening night, of course.
Yeah.
And then my mom really wanted to see it. And I remembered being like, well, the ending's worth it because seeing the ending with him
the
and
death
Gwen
scene is really good.
is good.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, let's go. I'll go see it again. Maybe I'll have a different opinion. I worked at Regal at the time, so I saw it for free.
That makes more sense. Okay.
No, went to IMAX. Mom paid for it.
Oh. Well, either way, like, I saw it in theaters, and I was just like, okay. There are moments I like. I like all the stuff with Peter and his aunt in that movie a lot, actually. I really like the scene of her, like, talking to him and saying, like, you're my son. You know, like, I don't know. Like, I remember liking that scene a lot. Just because, like, she did raise him, and she's all... Like, he's all that she has now at this point. And he's
but
around
his whole subplot kind of sucks.
Yeah.
What was the point of nursing school?
I don't know.
I love the scene where the power comes back on, and her, who's got to be, like, a student there, is like, okay, everyone, get back to work. Get back to work. I'm in charge here.
Yeah, I do remember that. I'm like, what the heck? But, like, I liked her character, at least her relationship with Peter. Like, I still think, honestly, the best Aunt May is still the original from... Like, that's just me. And I think that's probably because her speech in Spider-Man 2, and then, like, the life lessons that she gives
Another one
Peter.
in 3 where they talk about swimming.
Oh, yeah, where she's talking about how the ring that she gets, she thought it was dazzling, and she thought it was the sun. And I'm like, you did not. Like, you lying old lady. You just gone crazy. But I really like the scene, I believe there's a hero in all of us. That's a really good moment.
You got like an extra layer of like wrinkles back here.
But anyway,
Really bad.
I should be talking
Hold
about...
on, he's trying to talk, Zach.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to ask you guys a question.
Okay.
That's all.
What is your question, Ghost of Ryan?
We talk about a lot of Spider-Man, but let's talk about Nick Cage for a second.
Okay.
Let's just talk about our
Do you think
favorite...
he'd have made better? Do you think he'd have made 8-Legged Freaks better?
Well, yeah.
Nick Cage.
Dude.
He could literally be better, any better hero that you could put out there.
Do you think they should remake 8-Legged Freaks as Nick Cage as all the spiders?
With his like face
On
on there.
all,
on the
oh my
spiders.
gosh, yeah.
That would actually be with his like his crazy laughing face that he does.
Well, each spider he's got to give a different performance. Like how Vin Diesel gives a different like I am Groot.
Yeah.
For every dialogue, it's a different like. Anyway, yeah, your question.
So
Nick Cage.
let's talk about our favorite movie by Nick Cage.
Oh, okay. We're just talking Nicolas Cage now all of a sudden? I was not prepared for
Our
this.
National Treasures.
Yeah, National Treasure's really
First
good.
National Treasure, yeah.
I like them both. We watched the second one during 4th of July.
Yeah, we did. And I actually I remembered not liking it, but looking back on it now, it was fine.
I know I've never seen Leaving Las Vegas, which is the movie he won the Oscar for.
I haven't seen that, but I've always heard it's really good. I liked Gone in 60 Seconds with him a lot.
Not too bad.
I also liked what was it?
Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
That was probably the worst movie that I've ever seen. Oh wait, have I said that before? Oh yeah, I say that every episode.
Have you seen Left Behind with him?
We've been left behind.
Okay, the whole principle of like the whole story, like of him being a pilot and all that,
It literally serves no
is
purpose.
it is the most pointless thing I've
Right.
ever seen in a movie.
And he like lands the plane or something by the end, and it's like, okay, like I don't remember. I try to
I
forget
remember
that film
watching through
exists.
that and going, "What am I watching right now?" Because the
Yeah.
other Left Behind movies I thought were actually okay. I don't know if they
Yeah, 'cause
aged
they-
very well.
they
but
actually-
the actual movie and like
The actual concept of
plots
the
and
rapture
everything,
is
yeah.
like prevalent in the film.
Yeah, yeah. This one, I have no idea what happened with that, but Nick Cage is in it, so anything can happen. That's
I
good.
worked at the theater when Left Behind came out, and I remember a lot of people just leaving midway through.
Yeah.
Like I remember just going in there and cleaning halfway through the movie instead of when it was over.
So mine is probably actually The Wicker Man, and not because it's good, but because
The bees, not the
The
bees.
bees! Not the bees! Not the bees! How did it burn? How did it burn? Like, literally that entire performance is just fantastic. Now, like, if I had to pick, like, an actual good film, there's one where he's, like, an arms dealer. It came out in, like, 2006.
God of War.
Yeah.
Or no, not it's
Man
like
of War.
God of War.
Not God of War.
I guess actually, if we're being honest,
No, I think it is. No, it's War of Lord. Lord of War. I think it's Lord of War.
I'm going through all his movies right now.
I think it's Lord of War.
I'm looking for that right now.
That's actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
He
Lord
does
of
really-
War.
Lord of War.
Is it?
I
Lord of War?
I remember just the opening of that
I knew
film
something.
so
Lord
well.
God. Okay, it's same thing.
Where he's like, he talks about how many guns, there's enough guns in the world for everyone to have 12 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, so the real question is, how do we arm the other 11? And they go through like the lifespan of a bullet, like, and they just have the perspective on that bullet where it's like being made in a factory, and then it's shipped to these like soldiers in another country,
yeah.
and the opening scene is just a dude getting shot in the head with
I
this
think
bullet.
that has one of the
that's
best
one of
opening
that's one of the
scenes
best openings to
of,
any movie.
Like just an individual movie that you
Yeah.
have no idea what's really going to happen.
Right.
In the movie.
Like I just remember that specifically, and I enjoyed that film, but it's been so long since I've seen
So I'm gonna
it.
it
name
just came out in
two
4K.
Nick Cage
watch it.
movies. You're gonna tell me that
Okay.
you like Wicker Man more than these.
Okay.
Teen Titans Go to the Movies
Oh.
and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I forgot that he's in those. What role is he in? Oh, wait, he's Superman.
Superman.
That's right.
Because he was supposed
That's
to be
right.
Superman in
Because
the...
because of the joke, we actually cracked up laughing at that. How could I forget? I'm so sorry. Teen Titans Go to the
I need to
Movies
watch
is.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I haven't watched it since the theater.
He's also in G-Force, which is the guinea pig.
Oh, the guinea pig movie.
He plays one of the guinea pigs, and I'm very upset.
He's also in what's that one superhero movie?
going
With
through
Hit
it.
Girl.
Kick-Ass.
Yeah, he's in Kick-Ass. He's basically.
Oh,
Batman.
no, I said a dirty word!
Oh, I gotta write some swears down for me and Brandon because we
Right.
both said it.
Like, do you actually keep track of these?
Sometimes.
No. He's just making up numbers. You put a 7?
No, that's a 1.
Oh, that's a B. It looked like you
That
put...
was
That's an arrow. It looked like you
that
put a
was like-
7.
That's a B with an
literally, that was
arrow.
like 21. Oh, there you go.
But yeah. So okay.
There's no Z on there.
So if I had to pick, yeah, it is. It's right there.
That's not a Z.
That's a Z.
He's...
I know what I wrote.
Why are you trying to rig this, Zach?
I'm not trying to rig it. I said the word and I admit it. Anyway, so if I had to pick between those two films, Into the Spider-Verse or Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which role I enjoyed him more in, it's got to be Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not in Teen Titans Go to the Movie that much.
No, and like when he is, like
I mean,
like-
it's not like crazy and
he,
He's in Spider-Verse more than he's in Teen Titans.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. And
He has-
Superman's
he
in
yeah.
Teen Titans Go a lot. His dialogue isn't there.
we should have said lead role.
No.
He's in a lot of just like random little things.
Yeah, I went through. He's got a lot of movies.
The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
He's in a movie called Next. I don't know if either one of you guys saw that.
No.
I remember it.
He could see ahead like so far into the future.
Oh, Knowing or whatever.
No, knowing was the one where he figured out
Yeah.
The
the
dates of like.
And
that's,
then it
not,
all-
that's not a bad movie.
That one's fun.
I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. I remember hating it.
It's very slow and it's very dry at points, but
I
mean,
remember-
it's not a bad movie. Like if you just, but I also haven't watched.
Yeah,
it
I mean,
in a
it
while.
came out 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
you're asking me like in 2009
I
what I
think
thought
you
about
Crap,
that.
that's a 10-year-old
But next
movie now.
was like one of those that I remember liking the idea of it but hating the movie because like I won't spoil how it ends, but I remember he could like see ahead so far into the future, and like basically the government like recruits him and he like sees ahead and like he can do 3 different visions and all 3 of them like he kind of just sees and he goes back and tells him what to do for the one.
Sometimes I like to burn matches down to my fingertips just
Do
so
you
I can feel something,
Do you think
anything.
he's better in serious roles or like not serious roles?
I think
more
he's better
adventure
in
roles?
serious roles that are supposed to be taken seriously, but it's a joke. Like, whenever like he
'Cause
goes full on
if-
Nick Cage in a serious role, that's when I love him. That's when he's at his
I
best.
feel like it's hard to decide that now in 2019 where
He's
Nick
basically
has
a
not
meme.
done a serious role since like probably 09. Like a
Yeah.
serious role that was actually good because that's the
Yeah.
problem. He can do I think he can do serious roles.
Do you think it's
Nick
the
Cage just
writing
takes
for
what
him?
I think Nick Cage just takes whatever role is offered to
No,
him.
he does. He said that.
Well, I
Just
think
so that, like-
I think it's a character, and that's the
Yeah.
problem. He's typecasted. So
Yeah.
like even if
Yeah.
it's a serious role, it's a like character that's comedic.
Right.
So like
Well, like, no matter what movie he's in, I'm always going to be like, oh, that's just Nick Cage. Like, even in the
Yeah, it's not
Spider-Verse,
even-
I'm like, oh, that's Nick Cage's Spider-Man.
it's
like,
not even like he's tied to like a certain character that I'm like,
He's just
oh,
Nick
he's
Cage.
the pilot from Left
Yeah,
Behind, or
he's just Nick Cage in all his movies, which is fine. I don't really mind. I feel that way about The Rock and all of his movies.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like
Kind of.
the only one where I could honestly tell you the name of his character is Luke Hobbs from the Fast and Furious franchise. Other than that, like I don't.
Friday night.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know the name of any of his characters in
Thursday
any movie.
I can't go Thursday, so I have to go Friday.
Friday night,
I get to go by myself again.
dude.
Charlie's going Thursday night if you want to try.
I'm excited for that movie to be just completely ridiculous.
Is Charlie here?
He gets back Thursday.
Oh.
The
Yeah.
first thing he wants to do is go see Hobbs.
Bruh.
I was like,
I was like, hey, I told him I was like, we should go Friday. Charlie, if you're listening to this, which I mean, you probably won't hear before we
Friday.
go see Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll go see with you Friday because I can't go Thursday. But he
Yeah,
insisted
no.
he was going to go Thursday night to Alamo. So
I really like those trailers a lot. They get me excited for a movie that I had no business wanting to watch 3 years ago when they announced the spinoff.
I still don't really want to watch it, but I'm super excited.
Oh no, I want to watch it just because of how ridiculous it is. Like literally in the trailer, I see Roman Reigns spearing a guy, and I'm like, okay, this is the type of movie I'm getting into. Like they're pulling a helicopter by a chain
That's the moment that
over
I was
the
like,
cliff, and I'm like, all right, I'm in.
yeah,
Like,
that was when I was like, I know what I'm getting into.
yeah.
Or when-
and we've talked about this a lot.
yeah,
but
or
you
when
just
Rock
have to-
like
you just
jumps
have-
out of the elevator and he
Yeah.
like grabs the guy. I'm like, yeah, okay, like
one of these days we'll do a top 10
Fast
favorite-
and Furious
crazy
movies.
favorite moments of Fast and Furious.
There's almost 10 of them. There's almost 10 movies. You can just
Yeah.
pick them up.
I know.
Movie.
You just pick the,
Or like-
the worst.
Next
or like-
year there'll be 10.
Or like your favorite extreme moments from the Furious franchise. Like, just be like, what moments specifically make you like these movies?
Does it ever bother you that this is called Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, but some of them are just called Fast, or some of them are just called Furious and not Fast and Furious?
I don't get the whole name thing exactly.
I
I don't
think-
know why they keep on going back and forth, and they've flipped it around over the years.
Yeah, now
I
it's
don't-
like Fate. Like the last one was Fate of the Furious.
Like they try to
Fast 5 and 6,
Yeah.
Furious 7, The Fate of the Furious.
like it's almost like their own like chapters within.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
how they name it. I don't really get it though. I've never.
I-
Put a lot of
Next
thought
one's
into
called Fast 9 as of now.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, which fine, just keep that. Like,
I am interested to see how this movie fares. I'm sure it'll.
I
do you
wanna-
think- Do you think it has the potential to break $1 billion?
Hobbs and Shaw?
I think so.
I feel like it could go either way. It really depends on like the international market, because not domestically.
I mean, the last
yeah.
the
Right.
last
Yeah,
few
but
have
that's
been $1
where
billion
they-
movies,
But
right?
well,
7 and
Furious
8.
7 was $1 billion movie.
Yeah,
Fate was as well, but Fate only made $200 million domestically. It
Right.
made everything else internationally.
right. I think that's probably going to happen again, just because once like the international market sees that, oh, this is a Fast and Furious movie, I'm in.
Yeah.
Well, they're not
I-
called Fast and Furious. They're called
that's-
something else.
Yeah.
A much cooler name than what we get. I'm gonna look it up while you guys talk.
But
my bet would be that
I'm
it
assuming
barely hits $1 billion.
I'm going to
by
assume
the
it
end.
probably gets close. If not, maybe passes it barely. I agree.
I don't see them making any more than 200 here though.
I could see it
probably.
being around the 200 million range, yeah.
But,
But I want to see it just because of how ridiculous the plot is. Like, it's literally almost like
and everybody does. That's
Yeah.
that's the thing.
It's like-
even if it looks like a weird movie, you're like,
so. Like,
might as well
this
just
is
go for the
like
show.
basically their version of like Infinity War, where like they have
What?
the plot of the movie is this like evil guy who's gonna try to wipe out half of humanity with this virus that he's got. What is it with half of humanity being erased in movies now?
So let me tell you how much better the titles are in Japan.
Okay.
So, and this is in order. It's called Wild Speed, Wild Speed X2,
Yeah.
Wild Speed X3 Tokyo Drift,
Okay.
Wild Speed Max, Wild Speed Mega Max,
Yeah.
Wild Speed Euro Mission, Wild Speed Sky Mission.
Sky Mission.
Those are much better.
I like the
Yeah,
name
I'm
Wild
not
Speed.
sure if I agree on that.
Hey, don't go disrespecting Wild Speed, man.
Sounds like some wild show.
I'm trying to figure out what the Wilds. So Fate of the Furious is called Wild Speed Icebreaker.
That makes a lot of sense considering they're on ice for a good portion of that movie. That's one of my favorite moments in that movie is when they're on the ice and The Rock literally
What?
kicks a nuke out of like their line of fire or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I can see
And
The Rock
still when he
doing
breaks
that.
out
So-
of the cast.
Fast and Furious
Oh, yeah.
presents Hobbs and Shaw is called Wild Speed Super Combo.
That's pretty great. Wild Speed.
This is-
super
They
combo.
literally hired like a 12-year-old just to like, what do you think? Super combo.
This is why the movies make $1 billion internationally.
They're marketed towards kids. It's genius.
I think it's like the Wild Speedo.
Yeah.
Is like how it's like pronounced in the
Yeah.
trailers.
So, where do you think the future of this series goes? Do you think they go to space?
Space. If
Yeah.
not space.
If
They
not
need to go
space,
to-
then superheroes.
Yeah, well, they already are superheroes. Let's be real.
I mean, like, with Idris Elba's character getting superpowers, essentially.
I'm Black Superman.
I'm just like, when is The Rock gonna get his powers where he literally shoots electricity?
I was thinking where he just shot rocks out of his arms.
You know, is it still
No,
hopeful
he's
to
the
think that
he's the most electrifying
you-
man in all
do you
of
still
entertainment.
think it's hopeful to think that we'll ever get back to just regular,
No.
cars?
Bro, it was never just about the regular cars, though. Like, people say that all the time, but, like, if you go back and watch the first movie,
Yeah, I watched them.
it's about this guy going undercover to find out who's robbing these semi-trucks and, like...
Yeah, but the majority
infiltrating
of
the-
scenes is them driving around, like having these street races and actually like.
Yeah, but, like, it's still got heist involved and stuff. Like, they just get more and more crazy as they go on.
To answer your question,
No.
no, because all of them
You
that have
always have to
been
one up.
well,
one
that
up
and
Yeah.
all of them that are like super over the top make more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget Dom headbutting one guy and taking out two guys, and then them shooting somebody with a harpoon gun literally, like, 5 minutes apart.
Yeah, like if you look at the box office turn from Fast and Furious like 4
to
Yeah.
five.
to 5 to 6 to what? I mean 7 was an anomaly because of Paul Walker's passing.
Honestly, The Rock saved that franchise.
yeah.
Like-
He did. Like, if we're being real, I don't know. I mean, I get that Fast 5 would have done well, but I don't know if it would have done that well.
Like, to me, like, I know a lot of people on that set are kind of jealous that he's getting a spinoff, but I'm like, listen, that man literally caused such an increase in interest in your franchise. And his character's one of the
See,
strongest written
I
ones.
don't know if I could say that it caused an increase in.
I would because
interest.
of the box office numbers. Like,
I
more
mean-
people went to see them once they added The Rock.
I don't know if I would say. I would say he was a
He
great.
added a little more spice to the mix, but I don't know if I would have been like, "Oh, The Rock's in it. I gotta watch it," kind of thing.
Well,
I don't know
yeah,
how many
but
people
you-
said that.
You were a fan prior, right? Like, you watched all the movies and everything?
Yeah, I know that. I understand
Yeah.
that there's going to be the people that have always watched it.
Yeah,
not
so-
because of Paul Walker.
Right.
But I mean, you have to remember. I mean, it's not just The Rock. That,
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that The Rock being casted in that movie brought in a lot of new fans, I think.
I do feel like I don't know if I would say him specifically, but his chemistry with the cast.
Yeah, he
is probably
fits
what.
in so well with them. And, like...
Yeah,
I mean, that's
I
what
don't
got-
even know if I would say that he fits in really well with them in a way. But
I would prior to 8. I would prior all their like beef, because that was part of the reason I started watching it was because of their.
I liked 5 so much because of the chase element of The Rock trying to hunt down Vin Diesel's crew.
Yeah, 5 was the first one I ever saw. Well,
Yeah.
that's a lie. I saw 1.
I saw 1, 2, and 3.
But
I never saw
I
4.
couldn't-
do
yeah.
you think? And I mean, this is just a question, but like Vin Diesel. Like, do you think he can hold the franchise? Like, if The Rock never was in it, do you think the Vin Diesel would have been able to do what
I guess
he does now?
I think it depends on who you put in that role as Luke Hobbs, because Luke Hobbs is
No,
such an important character.
his question is, let's say maybe
the plot would have changed, obviously.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things would have been different. But do you think Vin Diesel, up to 9,
no.
would have been able to?
I don't
carry-
think so
But
without Paul Walker, like, because they're such an iconic pair for those movies. And then once you add The Rock into the mix, it kind of became a trio. And then after we lost Paul Walker, the focus clearly shifted towards The Rock being a bigger character.
I think what would have happened is 7 would have been the finale. No matter how much
Yeah.
it made, I think 7
I
would have
think
been
so,
the,
too.
And some people would have agreed.
I do. I
would-
kind of.
I
I
feel
kind
like
of
would've-
would have.
I feel like
would've-
7 should have been the finale.
I think there should have been like the movie after Paul Walker for revenge or a vengeance or whatever
Yeah,
kind of thing,
you got-
and then you have that closure. At
But
that
I
point.
like that 7 ended with not him dying anyway. That it was
Yeah.
just,
It was just-
the I mean, it always had been foreshadowed that he would rather be with Mia than on these like.
Yeah, and however that would have ended if they knew that was going to end. They may have not killed him off, but if something crazy happened to something,
Yeah.
like every movie, but something to complete the closure for the other characters,
I
which
kept-
they kind of did.
When I
in a
went and
way.
saw that movie in theaters, I was like, man, if they kill Paul Walker in this movie, it's going to be the most distasteful thing.
Yeah, that 7 was the one that we watched 5, before 7 came out. I remember that
Yeah.
one night. And then I decided to binge them all because I really wanted to see 7. I wanted to see how they handled it. And I remember being like, well, these are a lot of fun, but like without the chemistry of this cast, I don't know how good it would have been. So that would have been that's my question is, I guess my part of it would be, I think The Rock does bring enough chemistry and his charisma to help, but I don't know if you didn't have him in it,
where would it be now? I think it would be done.
I don't know if it probably, but I also feel like you could find somebody else who maybe but I don't know if you I don't know.
I just don't know who I see in that role.
My thing would be is it should have probably been done in the 7th. But
sure.
Here we are, we're watching them still like they knew that we would.
Right, and now The Rock and Jason Statham have their own spin-off.
Yes,
and
but
I would
if
say
The Rock, let's just say in a different universe that The Rock never signed with them, and then he's like, I'm not doing this.
Who would you have played?
Would Paul Walker have died?
Did The Rock have him killed?
Rock's like, I want this franchise now.
Well, if he was gonna do it, he would have killed Tyrese Gibson because they're
beefing pretty hard right now.
Yeah, but Tyrese has nothing on him, so he's irrelevant.
Well, Pierce.
Paul Walker said,
Roman Pierce is the side character in the iconic Too Fast, Too Furious movie.
But here's the thing: do you think if Paul Walker goes, I don't want The Rock in this movie, that would have been his real beef. You'd have had to get past that.
I feel like he probably didn't care. He's like, yeah, Rock, let's do it.
Well, yeah, I'm saying
that. Well, their drama didn't start until 8, so Paul Walker was what was keeping them all together.
Yeah. Paul Walker was the glue that held them all together.
All together. They still play that song like a ridiculous.
I hear it
on the radio like once a week.
Yeah, I was gonna say every time I get gas, I'll be standing there at the gas station here.
It was so incredibly annoying to hear that song on the radio.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't mind it. I thought it worked perfectly with everything, but it's like, okay, just calm it down, guys.
I really like the YouTube video of like the guy feeding the crow a French fry, and it's like, you'll always be my brother, and like the crow takes the French fry and just flies off. I'm like, that's pretty great.
Trolled me so bad.
Yeah, Ryan used to cry a lot when he heard that, so we would play it all the time.
Oh, really?
I was a huge Paul Walker guy, so
they would always
send me all these stupid memes and harass me for weeks on end.
Or like we'd just be blaring "See You Again"
all the time.
Y'all are brutal, man. Like,
without you, my friend.
Listen, if y'all do that to me when like somebody like Hulk Hogan or John Cena passes away, I'm never gonna forgive you.
When they do "See You Again 2,"
"See You Again 2" with John Cena, he's like,
"We can't see you.
See you again." John Cena is slowly fading away as he's doing his taunt. "You can't see me."
It still can't see you, and then.
So I've heard that he's actually going to be in Fast 9.
It's confirmed he's in 9. Yeah.
I kind of like that. I'm just like,
they're just getting all the big names. Just
hey, listen.
Well, it's all the WWE people who
all the big boys
who will do the movies for cheap because they want to be on the up, and so like,
Well, also like John Cena is a big like muscle car enthusiast. He actually has custom made muscle cars that he like drives around, and he actually like is into the like street racing stuff. So like, it's actually nice to have like an actor.
Everybody just wants to see John Cena and The Rock fight in a movie. Theatrical scene.
Listen. We got them to wrestle twice, but I'm waiting for the rubber match in Fast and Furious 9. My real question is John Cena going to be like your typical military guy, or he going to finally play a villain? What do you think?
I want to see him in a different role than
I would like
that military general or whatever.
I want to see him play a villain. Like, really bad. I just want to see if he can do it.
Even in Bumblebee, he had his little...
Yeah, in Bumblebee...
Redemption.
Yeah, he redeems himself by the end, and it's like, he's just a soldier trying to, like, make sure that, like, the robots aren't with Russia or whatever, because it's, like, at the height of the Cold War. He does have that best line in that movie, though, where they talk about how they're called Decepticons and they can't trust them. He's like, are you sure that we should trust these guys? They're called Decepticons. It's in the name. And I'm like... I wonder if that was an ad-libbed line or not, just because John Cena like literally doesn't care.
So let's talk about some games.
Okay. You and I played Ultimate Alliance 3
Yeah.
together one night.
How was that?
It's fun.
Yeah.
We played for like what, an hour?
We played long enough to do it 2 chapters.
Yeah.
So maybe like 2 hours, 2.5.
I remember playing when it first came out on 360.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It was like when it 360 first came out too.
Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. Ultimate Alliance 1 was like PS2.
Mm-hmm.
That's how, and then I remember they remastered it it included like a bunch of DLC characters for the Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
and
Ghost
PS3,
Rider.
Ghost Rider, the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
No,
Silver Surfer. Like,
Yeah.
so many characters that, like, you'd never have imagined them being in one game together.
So the max character before Ultimate Alliance 3 was 26,
Yeah.
including DLC,
Mm-hmm.
which was Ultimate Alliance 2. And then 3 has, as of right now, 36
Right.
36 to 38, because there's DLC characters coming soon. And then they've got 4 DLC packs spanning from Ghost Rider, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and something else, the Marvel Knights.
Moon Knight?
Moon Knight's part of the Marvel Knights.
That's what I would assume.
It's good.
You were just talking about this. It's kind of a hard game to play by yourself.
So at first, I thought it would only be good solo because like the camera sucks. The camera really sucks, and it does take a lot of getting used to having 2 people on there because it's just weird. There's a lot happening. But I played solo for the first chapter and was like, okay, I can't imagine playing this with 2 people. And then we played for a while, and I was like, well, now I can't imagine playing it by myself. So I went back and tried to play it by myself and didn't like it. And so it's one of those games that like I strongly recommend if you have like a group of people you can sit down and play it with. Because like as of now, I'm selling it, but like it's fun. Like I don't not recommend the game. It's just
Play it with friends.
yeah, it has online. Like if Zach had a copy, I'd probably be more likely to keep it. But
I want to get a copy. It's just I don't get paid till not next week, but the week after. So, if you were willing to hold on to it, I will get a copy. But that's your call.
I already messaged the guy meeting him like basically after we finished filming.
Well then, sorry guys, we're not going to be talking about Ultimate Alliance very much. Who was your favorite character to play as?
Cap
Cap?
and Spider-Man.
Yeah,
And Thor. Actually, those 3 were.
Thor was actually really fun.
Thor was really broken.
Yeah, I really liked how he would shoot lightning directly from the hammer. I was like, yeah.
I liked all of them that have the blast.
Yeah.
Where it just blasted out like the Kamehameha and you just turn
Yeah.
it around the screen.
Iron Man's Unibeam was
Yeah.
really cool. And then I didn't like Wolverine that much.
I feel like the problem is it was chaotic with everything we were doing.
Yeah.
And I bet if we played with him at the end of our play,
Yeah.
where we finally got a grip on everything and understood how it all worked, that we'd enjoy it. But
I thought it was really cool that they added pretty much like every Spider-Verse character that you can
all
think
the
of.
main, except for Spider-Ham.
Yeah, he
Gosh
probably
darn.
Or
That's all I
Spider-Man
care about.
Noir, so
Yeah,
there's no
they-
Nicolas Cage impression.
And yeah, they probably won't be in the game, but Miles was there, Spider-Woman was there, and Spider-Girl
Spider-Woman.
or Spider-Woman, yeah.
Spider-Woman and Venom.
Yeah. Venom was pretty great.
And Venom.
Um,
Let me eat lobsters.
but yeah, it was a fun game.
Gosh, I'm starting to sweat in here.
It wasn't bad. I enjoyed what I played. I would probably only play it again with friends too.
Yeah.
Just because like those games like are heavily focused on multiplayer, which is fun.
Zach started another Fallout New Vegas. And
No.
this is-
I wasn't gonna. I
Here's
actually,
your 20-minute segment.
I actually wasn't even gonna talk about New Vegas, but since you brought it up, now I'll spare you guys.
no, talk about it. You played it.
No, I actually didn't. I started Pokemon Red actually because I was feeling kind of nostalgic. That's why I drew the 3 starter Pokemans.
Well, our audience can't see that.
Well, they can't see it, but you guys can, and that's
don't
what
see
matters
it.
to me.
What
All
are
right,
you
listen.
talking about?
I started a run of Pokemon Red, and I decided to challenge myself, and I was like, "This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a Squirtle only
Long
run.
Dark Sand.
I'm doing a Squirtle only run of Pokemon Red, and right now I'm at Cerulean City trying to fight Misty with a level 23 Squirtle, and it's not going well.
Just get it to her and buy it. I feel like I can't be too hard.
It does no bite, but bite's a normal type move in Gym 1. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not doing me too much good. If it was Fire Red Leaf Green, then I would have already won because Starmie's part psychic. But I'll eventually use the Dig TM for him to get past Lieutenant Surge. I'll have like no other choice. The hard part is how I'm not allowing him to evolve, and I'm starting to wonder if I'll be able to do it because I've never done a base Pokemon the whole way through a game before. But like people do them all the time and they're fun, and I'm like, if I can manage that, maybe I could do. I want to try something really crazy with Pokemon, where like I only catch the first 6 different Pokemon I see, and those are the only ones I use the entire game, just to see if you can do it. So like I'd have to use like Pidgey, Rattata, Caterpie.
Weedle. You could go get a
Weedle.
Mankey.
I could get Mankey and Nidoran, and I
Or
think,
Pikachu, depending on...
depending on if I'm lucky, yeah. So
Well,
it's
I mean,
like,
realistically, well, okay. So by your logic, would you do?
I wouldn't do repeats. So like if I ran into Metapod, I'd just get Caterpie.
Okay, so then if you just stayed in Viridian City or Viridian Forest long enough, you could get Pikachu.
Right, but I'm also thinking I'll do it to where I can only get one Pokemon per route. Kind of like a Nuzlocke kind of deal.
So you honestly, my
I could potentially get Mankey, Spearow,
Zubat.
Nidoran.
You're gonna get a Zubat.
I could get Zubat. I could get Paris. I could get Clefairy.
That
or
actually might not be the
Geodude.
worst.
Zubat wouldn't be too bad. Golbat's not bad.
The run itself might
Yeah.
not be the worst idea I've heard.
I think that's kind of fun. I might try it and I'll let you guys know. But other than that, I played Telltale Games The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I saw
Season
you
one.
you stream that.
Yeah, I did. I streamed the
Where do you
first.
stream at?
I stream on twitch.tv/getoutofmylife.
Jittery Jack and Ape.
We
I
should have quite a few new followers as of last night.
I told him.
Oh yeah, tell that story because that's really funny.
We just screamed.
You guys were running around. You guys were running around screaming my Twitch name downtown.
We were driving around. To be fair, we didn't get out of the car. You think we were gonna do that? You think we're gonna go up to people and physically be like, "Hey, follow Jittery Jack and Ape at Twitch.tv."
You should have just like made a giant sign and just like held it up.
Well, if I'd known that we were going out, I would have. They just showed up to my house while I was pooping, and then they're like,
Oh.
"Get out in the car."
Okay, well that's fair. But yeah, I played the first 2 episodes of Walking Dead. I've played most of the first season. I haven't done all the options, so it's been so long since I've played it that it's pretty
I
much
played
new.
the first season.
Yeah,
last year I think.
I remember how the first season ends. I don't remember anything about season 2, and I've never played season 3 or season 4. So I was at Walmart the other day, and they had the collection for like $30, and I was like, "This is worth $30."
Yeah.
So I bought it. I'm just like, I'll probably just stream that whenever I have the time, just to like record my reaction to the choices in the game.
I know a lot of people don't like season 3.
Really?
Yeah, I know season 2 is pretty well liked.
I've heard season 4 is really good.
Season 4 is good, but I know there's a lot of controversy on the ending
Really?
because a lot of people are like, "Well, this isn't how I would have ended it."
Yeah.
And yeah, it's weird. I won't spoil it. I know how it ends because I wanted to play them all,
Yeah.
and then I never got around to it. So I listened to a spoiler cast on.
Yeah. So I do know one thing because people linked me to this spoiler, and I thought it was hilarious. It's a meme called Boat God Kenny, and it's basically because like he's already talking about this a lot in season 1 with where I'm at right now. He keeps talking about like trying to get a boat and get out onto the water, and that's like Kenny's like entire purpose in the game is like we gotta get a boat. So like somebody with Gary's mod filmed like Kenny descending from the heavens and boats falling down next to him, and they did a remix of Our God is an Awesome God, and he's like crunk dancing to this crunk version of the song, and Clementine is just like looking up at him like going nuts, and then Lee is just behind him like with a halo over his head because I know he dies, and like he's just dancing too. I'm like, this is hilarious. I'll show you later because like it was just so ridiculous. I was like, somebody literally linked that to me midstream, and I was like, I gotta watch this. I should have watched it on camera, but I was worried that like the music would get me like a copyright strike or something. But that's pretty much all I've done for games. What I've watched, I'll save Once Upon a Time for last, just because you and I both saw that. That is obviously by Quentin Tarantino. So I actually watched Pulp Fiction this morning because I woke up at 5 a.m. for whatever reason. My body was just like, you need to be up. I was like, okay. What's on Netflix? And literally the first thing that popped up was Pulp Fiction and the other Tarantino films that are on Netflix. And I haven't seen Pulp Fiction in 10 years, and I sat down and watched it, and I was like, this movie is better than I remember. And I already thought it was pretty good. And I just looked into like a lot of the stuff about the film, like the briefcase in the movie, like what's supposed to be in the briefcase. There's a lot of theories. Yeah, I know.
Have you ever seen Pulp Fiction?
We got to get you to watch that because that's one of the most well-made movies of all time. Like,
yeah, every time I've talked about watching it, something's come up, and because it's like it's almost 3 hours, isn't it?
It's a 2.5-hour movie. I really like the way the story is told. Just being out of order, like a lot of films have modeled themselves after that. That film came out the same 94.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 94.
Yeah, so
That film came out the same year as Forrest Gump and Shawshank Redemption. And which one of those 3 movies do you think won the Oscar?
Forrest Gump.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not even a question.
That's
Like,
easy.
now, a lot of people still to this day think that both of those movies were snubbed by Forrest Gump. And having seen all 3 of them, I kind of agree.
I like Shawshank more than Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And I like Tom Hanks' performance, don't get me wrong, but I think I
everything
like Shawshank
else
so
about
far more.
yeah, I think everything else about Forrest Gump, I'm just like it's kind of average.
Just putting those all 3 together.
It's hard because they're all really great films, right?
And I think the '90s brought movies just those one-time movies, but they put so much work into those movies.
So
you don't have that much as much anymore. I don't.
Forrest Gump is based on a book, and they basically completely changed Forrest Gump's character from the book to how he is in the movie. And when they accepted all their awards and stuff at the Oscars, they didn't even mention that it was based on a book, and they never even said the author's name to give him any sort of credit for the inspiration. And a lot of people were like, that was wrong. They should have like given him credit for like the character that he created and like thanked him. Kind of like how people got mad that Stan Lee wasn't mentioned like at all for, I think, Black Panther.
I mean, none of
And
the
other
awards
films.
really like.
Right. But it's like people seem to get really mad whenever somebody's not mentioned.
The hard part is, part of that is
You
it's
only
going
have-
off the performance and stuff.
Yeah,
off that,
you
not
only have
the
so-
original
yeah.
author.
Well,
somebody
if
that's
you're
already
like,
changed
I
around.
think,
But here's the thing. They won it for they won an Oscar for best adapted screenplay from the book, and they don't even mention the book.
well, right, that's I
And
think
I'm
is
just like-
different. But Black Panther didn't win anything like that, so we're at
Right.
Stanley. But yeah, I get that one.
But it's like, okay, like, and to me, I feel like Shawshank Redemption should have won out of the 3 if I had a pick.
Ooh.
Ryan, what do you think? You've seen all 3 movies.
Yeah, I haven't seen Shawshank in a while, but they're all 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more between Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction. to be
Really, you
honest.
think so?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, well, I
don't know.
can see that the way Tarantino writes that film and the way it's shot and like
it's so hot in here.
I think the best part about Pulp Fiction is just how different each segment of the film is in terms of
And
like
see,
tone
it's not going to be
and directing
It probably
style.
wasn't a widely popular film.
None of Tarantino films are.
yeah.
None of Tarantino films are.
They never do very well with a wide
That's
wide
kinda
audience.
true.
But
There are-
if you can appreciate what he does,
Right.
There are a
in
lot
his
of
own way.
there are a lot of cult films, meaning like
Yeah.
People
now they're talked about
Yeah.
the way they are, not and when they come out. Like
right.
Once Upon a Time is the biggest opening he's ever had, and it's $40 million.
Yeah. And I think that movie will
he'll-
probably be his highest grossing film when all
But
is
when
said and
everybody
done.
talks about him,
Yeah.
he's like a legend almost.
Yeah.
And the name
Right.
and the director.
So like for whatever reason, Tarantino just has this negative stigma. Like whenever one of his movies come out, like whenever anything happens, people are like, "Oh, this movie's too violent," or "Oh, this movie's got too much language," or whatever. And I'm like, there are other films that are just as controversial that come out. What is it about Tarantino that you guys have like a hate boner for? Like it's the same with like video games and stuff. Like there's just this like campaign against
I just like
people who have expressive
his
freedom that
movies
aren't
are so
afraid-
just different.
Right, he's not afraid to like
it's
go
not the
into like
general-
extreme detail or like write something out the way that I think people would actually interact.
And I like to be kept on my toes during a movie.
Yeah,
And
like,
he does that a lot better than a lot of other
I
movies.
was I watched Django Unchained about 6 months ago or so,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember all the hate that came around that movie because of like they were like they used the N-word too much, and I'm just like 12 Years a Slave came out literally the same year, or like a year after or whatever.
A little after.
Like
It was pretty close.
but like
yeah, they were. I mean, they were a
so
year
like
or two apart.
I looked this up. In Tarantino's movie, the word is said 100 times. In 12 Years a Slave, it's said over 300.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody said anything about it in 12 Years a Slave.
Well,
But with
okay,
Django,
but let's
it's
let's
like-
pause for a second on this. If we're gonna make the argument, if you're gonna allow the argument to happen, 12 Years a Slave is based on a real book and a real story, where
Sure.
Django isn't. And I get where the argument comes from, that of a historical piece. It's kind of like the people who say they're okay with cussing and violence in war movies, but nothing else.
Yeah.
because it makes sense in those. So I'm gonna
Right.
say I understand where the argument is coming from. I agree with you. It's ridiculous,
Right.
but for argument's sake, that's where it's coming from.
yeah,
that
I
it's
know.
a real historical story.
Right. But like, if you're gonna do a time period piece, you have to respect the time period.
I get it.
Like, I just think that Tarantino gets hate for doing what any other director would do during that time.
Oh, yeah, I've never seen that hate online, but I guess I didn't really keep up with Tarantino until a couple years ago
Yeah.
when Hateful Eight came out.
Apparently he got a lot of hate for that film
But
too.
I mean, every movie,
Like,
there's
almost
a ton
anything-
of cursing. There's a ton
Yeah.
of, I mean, racial slurs basically.
Right. Like,
And
that movie's supposed to make you
with us
uncomfortable.
being in 2018, 2019 vibes, you know, with
Yeah.
everybody offended by anything that ever gets said.
yeah.
Of course he's going to take.
So
take a lot
that
of
being
lash.
said, Brandon and I just watched the 9th film by Quentin Tarantino. Technically his 10th, if you separate Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. He doesn't, so I'm kind of inclined to agree with him that you should see all of
Oh,
Kill
I've
Bill
never
as
seen
one
either
film.
one of those, by the way.
Oh, you
Not
haven't?
either.
Those are my brother's favorite Quentin Tarantino movies.
I like them. They're not my favorite. They're good, but
I need to watch them. There's 4 Tarantino movies I need to watch, I guess. That's why. So.
yeah. I've seen all of his work, and he's probably in my top 10 favorite directors of all time, maybe even top 5. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, what'd you think?
It's good. I'm really hot.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I know.
okay, so here's the thing. I think this is, in my opinion, DiCaprio's best performance.
Really?
100%. I would argue any
Yeah.
day that this is the one. If you told me this is DiCaprio's last movie,
That's such a bold
Even
statement.
if even
No,
over,
I'll
even
make
over,
it.
even over
Answer.
something like The Revenant.
but to be fair, I hate The Revenant.
Okay.
So
All right, that's fair.
I hate The Revenant. Easily one of my
'Cause,
least favorite
like-
movies. I thought it was so boring.
Really. But yeah, no, I kind of felt the same way. I thought Rick Dalton was just such a fun character.
Well, my thing is if you had told me that was an actor called Rick Dalton, I would have believed you.
Yeah.
There was a part of my brain that forgot that was Leonardo
I did
DiCaprio
too.
and that was Rick Dalton, and
Yeah.
that's what I like.
I felt the same way about Brad Pitt's character Cliff.
Not as much,
Not as
but
much,
yeah.
but like, because like you can tell it's Brad Pitt, but like Leo looks so different than what he does in like almost all his other movies. Like his hairstyle, his eye color, like everything. Like he looks like a completely
Yeah.
different guy. I love the scene that you see in the trailer of him like as a cowboy with like the thick handlebar mustache. That's probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Well, the whole like him filming all that stuff, I think is great.
yeah, I really love that.
now,
It like shows.
I wanna make sure we're clear
Hollywood
since
sets and stuff.
there's no plot spoilers, but I don't want to ruin moments.
Yeah.
So, like, overall, I think the moments are really great. The last
Yeah.
30 minutes of the movie are incredible.
Oh yeah.
And, like, that's what you're staying for.
Uh huh.
I have heard some people, I know some people who didn't like parts of it, and I get it. I understand where
Yeah.
you're coming from. Tarantino's dialogue is very, to me, enjoyable.
Right. That's what makes Tarantino for me is his dialogue. The way he writes,
Yeah.
like the way people talk and act. I'm like, this feels like a real conversation, not something crafted for a film.
Right.
Like-
And so there are moments in there that, like, even though they're boring, I liked because of the dialogue.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and this is as much I'll agree. You probably could have cut 10 to 30 minutes out of this movie, like just
Yeah.
from random stuff.
I think
and I'd
so.
have been Okay,
I feel like almost all the stuff with Margot Robbie could have been cut out.
but then
But
you ruin,
because
then
it
you
being
ruin a
based on
big,
the Sharon Tate,
the
stuff.
Manson stuff, yeah.
yeah, the Manson
Which
family.
whatever. There's a lot of debate around that on what you could cut because of
Yeah.
like just what it does. I want to keep this very brief because
Right.
not just because it's hot, but because I feel like to talk about the movie, you'd have to talk about moments.
Yeah, and if you talk about moments, and you're basically ruining the plot.
Yeah, because like I said, not much plot. You're watching
Right.
these actors, and this is the one thing I do want to stress. The movie isn't about the Manson murders. It's about these two
Yeah.
actors in the twilight years of their career and how they deal with how they either move forward or stop. And
Yeah.
what do they do? And I think it's mirroring Tarantino's own life of
Yeah.
do I stop or keep going?
Right. That was from interviews that I've read. That's kind of like the whole appeal because he said that he wants to retire from filmmaking when he's 60.
Well, and after he
And
does
after
the
he
10th
does-
movie,
But
which would be the
I've
next one.
I've also heard that like he's like if I get to the 10th film, great. If not, I kind of want to be done at 60. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's interesting. So like to me, I feel like this 9th film is him being like, okay, it's time to wind down.
Now, there is a rumor, and this isn't really a spoiler. He's
Mm-hmm.
talked in interviews, and I doubt this happens, but he wants to make a Bounty Law TV show.
I would love that.
And so,
if Leonardo DiCaprio gets to
if they could bring back all the actors from and have them act that way, I'd love it. But just for the record, that was a rumor.
Bounty Law would be great. I would watch that.
So that was a rumor that he would finish his 10th film and then do a television show.
So like
the other rumor is that he'll do the 10th movie and then do a Star Trek show.
I don't
He
know.
really wants to do a Star Trek movie.
I don't know how I would feel about him doing a Star Trek show.
I'm gonna be honest. Have you seen the Picard? Has anybody else seen the Picard trailer?
No.
Oh my gosh. Haven't watched any Star Trek outside the reboot movies, but I'm watching that series day one. Trailer is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It looks like Logan.
But
Picard.
for me, like, I think that the film is super interesting. I love the environment that it's set in. The 60s is just a really interesting time period to me. And, like, I like how, like, when a character is driving, like, and they have the radio on, you hear, like, ads from, like, the 60s
Yeah.
for, like, products. Like, there's an ad for Mug Root Beer, like, and it sounds like it's straight out of the 60s. And it actually probably is.
Recording of it.
Yeah. And,
But
like, you see, like, old logos for, like, a box of cornflakes in the background, or, like...
DiCaprio does really well in, I think, older, like, time frame films,
Yeah.
basically.
I mean,
I
you
think
have, like,
this is-
Titanic, Django,
Well,
now this.
yeah,
like,
Titanic's, yeah. But, yeah, even the Great Gatsby, which some people don't like that movie, but...
I like it, but the music in the movie being, like, more modern, I think kind of takes me out of that film, being that it's supposed to be set in the 20s.
Yeah, and they've got...
I'm just like,
a
I'm like, why is
beat
Jay-Z?
version
Why
of
is
it,
Jay-Z's music in the 1920s? Like, it kind of just sucks the reality of the movie out for me. Like, everything else about the film
But,
is great.
like, The Wolf of Wall Street,
That's a great movie.
I think
Never
that's
seen
one
it.
of his better films.
Yeah,
But just his acting performance, he goes from like high and lows to
yeah.
I mean, like,
He's just
crazy.
he's
The
very
scene,
talented.
And you guys have probably seen the scene where he's like trying to crawl to his car or whatever.
Yeah.
He's on drugs and
yeah.
but like that acting.
Yeah,
that
no,
had been exhausting just to go through.
He's-
Well, I would
Which
say
he's a dedicated.
if
actor.
we're gonna say what like Oscar like moments, I would say even his best moment, even over everything else, would be in Django where the
When
glass
he
breaks.
crushes the
Yeah.
glass, yeah.
because it actually cut his.
Yeah, and he
hand.
kept
He
going.
smashed the glass and kept going,
Yeah.
and that was his actual blood that
On
he
her
wiped
face,
on
yeah.
Carrie Russell's face. Yeah,
So like that, but okay, just talking about Once Upon a Time though.
yeah,
Overall, I give it an 8. It's a fun movie.
yeah. I'd say an 8.5.
I don't think it'll be my top 10 thing of the year.
I guess I'll have to see. Like when I sit down and look at all the films I've actually watched, then I can give you a affirmative answer on that.
I was sitting down thinking about it the other day, and
Or
I just don't like
definitive.
it. I don't like it more than. It's easily not in the top 5 because I don't like it more than Booksmart,
Sure.
Last Black Man, Art of Self Defense, Avengers.
Yeah,
So like for me, it's one
Oh.
of those that.
man, that's 2 movies in a row that we've seen where a dog is like an amazing character in a movie.
Oh yeah, the dog and
The dog in Art of Self-Defense has one of my favorite moments, and then the dog at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is also great. I
dude,
love the dog in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's
So-
such a good boy.
he is. So overall, like I said, an 8. It's not my favorite Tarantino movie.
Yeah, I don't know where I would rank it in the Tarantino film list. Maybe I'll actually do that one day for the podcast. I'll just rank the Tarantino films.
That'll be Zach's episode.
Where I'm just like,
for 2 hours.
I'm just
He's,
out.
like,
I'm just
talking
out here in the hot
about
garage, and I'm just like trying to dance to like keep my body cool. And I'm like,
Wouldn't that make your body hotter?
no, because of the wind.
You're pushing the wind
Yeah,
up.
but you're creating more energy.
Yeah.
There we go.
I want to talk about, since Zach just skipped over me and started talking about movies instead.
Oh, sorry.
I want to talk about Fire Emblem real quick.
Okay,
Um,
go on about Fire Emblem.
So listen here. I'm going to convince you on going out right now to Walmart and buying it.
Well, we went to Walmart and I tried to buy it, but they sold out.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta go to the GameStop
They're
down
sold
the
out.
corner. You gotta go to the vintage stock down the lane.
They might actually have it. But I know I had to help Tanner get the last copy at that Walmart.
Yeah, they were sold out. Me, Josh, and Jake, after we dropped you off yesterday, we went.
Easily one of my favorite games of the year. I honestly will be surprised. I don't really remember what else is. Actually, there's a lot.
I've heard that it's plus 80 hours.
It's per story.
per
It's
story,
3
yeah.
stories, and each story is 80 hours.
That's insane.
Yeah. I don't think I'll play all 3 of them. I picked the red group first because the blue guy kind of seems like a douche. So I was like, I don't really know if I want to join that group.
Yeah,
But-
I want to know a little bit more about the game.
So
too.
let me
Yeah.
let
Give
me
the principle of the game.
Okay. So it's a tactical RPG, of course. It's a grid based. So this is where it gets weird. This is the most out there Fire Emblem game has ever been. So I'm gonna try to be. So in this game, so it's grid based. The point of it is like you put allies together while they fight. It'll increase their relationship within each other, which you can marry some of them off.
Yeah.
I don't know if in this one, I know in the older ones they could have kids and their kids would have the stats of the characters. So like if you wanted a better version of those characters, you would marry them, have their kids, and then you put their kids out in war. In this one, it's Harry Potter. You are a teacher at a school where you can go through. See, whatever group you pick, you have 8 kids. I think it's 8. It's 8 to 10 kids that are like under you. So your goal is to get you grow with them. You help them raise their stats. You help them raise their friendships amongst each other, because as they do that, they do stronger damage when they're near each other. You try to deepen your bond with them or help them grow in whatever class they want to be. Like my 2 powerhouses right now are 2 different like heavy axe wielders, and so like you teach at the beginning of every week, you teach a lesson, and so you can you get points and you can designate those points to whatever kid needs it, but the kids can't take the points unless you've interacted with them throughout the week and stuff, because they have to have a certain amount of motivation, because it's the idea is the kids are easier to the kids will respond to you better when you've interacted with them. It's like a good teacher.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole principle of it. So every day, every week that goes by, they'll level up naturally. So you could totally ignore them. They won't get the stats you want. But you're given a free day, which you can do. You can explore, do lectures, do mock battles to just raise everyone's natural level, or just rest. And sometimes the game recommends you just rest a day, because if you're going into a real battle, which happens at the end of every month, and so you want to rest or try to at least get a day where you don't do much, because your character will be exhausted during all that. There's a lot, and that's why the first 2 hours are.
I love games like that though.
The first 2 hours to me, and this is what happened. I started it Friday, and that's all I did with the tutorial stuff, and I was like, man, I don't know if I want to play this. And then Saturday morning, I picked it back up after I got back from lunch, and I was just in.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of a fight right now back in the house. As soon as we finish, I'm going back to it. And it is just, I cannot recommend this game enough. If you've ever been a fan of Fire Emblem and you're like, man, it needs a little bit more depth, this is like Harry Potter meets Fire Emblem. And you can recruit from other houses. You can't recruit their leaders, but you can recruit any of the students if you deepen your bond with them. So you also have to make the choice of well, I really like this person, so I could spend my time focusing on them as well as my own house.
Okay.
Easily. So I've only put about 8 hours in. I strongly recommend the game if you've ever been a fan. Once I beat it, it's probably going to be a 9 or 10.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't have any other games coming out. I haven't, like I said, getting rid of Ultimate Alliance, because I just know what's getting my attention. So
yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, strongly recommend it. If I find one, I'm gonna start looking right now. But anyway, yeah, that's all I have. You got? Wait, you gonna watch anything else?
I don't know.
Oh, I've been watching Queer Eye. We'll probably
What?
Never saw it. And Wednesday night.
Kansas City this year, right?
Yeah, season 3 and 4.
Yeah.
We're only in season 1.
Man, I forgot about. Eric Andre. I'll talk about
But
that
yeah,
next
they do
week.
Kansas City for 2 seasons.
Keaton and I watched that for 5 episodes. What is going on?
That guy wants to buy Ultimate Alliance to me at 4:30. Yes, that works. It is 4 o'clock right now.
Oh, we gotta wrap this up then.
I don't know where he wants to meet. Oh man, it's hot. It's hot. Hold on. That's all I've got. Anything for you, Ryan?
Ryan,
Wait. We do have some news.
I've been watching. Yes, you're probably gonna mention.
I've
Have you heard this?
Yes, I've been watching Designated.
The news? Sorry.
I've been watching Designated Survivor. I'm in season 2, about to finish season 2 right now. There's a couple things I want to mention. I'll mention the news at the end.
All right.
Anyways, season 2 is a little crazy. There's suspense wise, I get he's the president of the United States and everything, but suspense wise, that is almost overwhelming, which you kind of bear that with him as he's going through everything. So I kind of like that. But the crazy events that happen almost every other episode or every episode are a little much. Some of them are season finale worthy, and it's happening too much. So I'm almost done with season 2. Season 3, I know is going to change a lot just because I've read a few things and I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm going to see how they plot it. During all of this week, they announced that they have canceled Designated Survivor. So, out of all the all the shows that I've decided to watch, this one's the one that's
Netflix announced it was canceled.
yes. So hopefully, I'm gonna create.
We found out that Ryan Neese likes our show. And,
Well, it's because it's
gonna-
part of the so Netflix canceled all their like affiliated shows
Yes.
because they only want their original stuff.
we don't like the idea.
So you need to
of,
start pitching it to a TV station.
We don't like the idea of partnering with anybody anymore because they're gonna take their shows and make their own streaming services.
Yeah.
NBC, we're kind of mad that you're taking away
Now-
like our bread and butter with The Office.
From watching almost all the way through season 2, it's hard for me to recognize that there could be more seasons past 3 from where I'm at. Just because they're running out of like the crazy things that they just keep on throwing stuff. I'm like, I don't know how you can extend the show for that long with all the crazy stuff. But it's like kind of like the show House with like
Well, let's be careful. My dad loves House.
no, I love House. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. But what I'm saying is sometimes you'd almost hit reoccurring like problems
Yeah.
throughout the show. You know, it's like something you saw. Well, I saw that about 3 seasons ago. Something similar. It's because they kind of run out of ideas and plot twists, and I mean, they didn't always run out of anything, but sometimes the reoccurring things. So that's what I kind of see as a future problem for Designated Survivor if it gets picked up somewhere else. But anyways, that's my 2 cents with that. So that's fantastic.
I'm slowly stripping in the background, so it's
So
Yeah,
I
you did
think
this
we're
last
gonna
week, too.
probably call this a show. And thanks for listening as always, and subscribe if you haven't.
yeah. I've heard the boys on Amazon is good, so maybe
Hey,
watch that.
we are on YouTube, Spotify, Google
SoundCloud,
Plus, SoundCloud,
iHeartRadio, Venmo.
iHeartRadio. We are on Twitter at coherent_nothing. You can follow me.
There's no underscore.
It's just coherent nothing. Oh, I've been linking people to the wrong thing then. You can follow me on twitch.tv/jitteryjackanape if you want. I stream maybe once a month or so. It's not very good, but you can enjoy the show if you like. I think there's somebody outside.
I'm gonna go fight him. I'm shirtless.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day.